you go into a game, you don't want to be out there all fired up like a defensive lineman or a linebacker who's trying to go hit somebody really hard. You're more of a calm, stoic, I would say, presence on the field, but you have to definitely be confident in yourself as well and be ready to perform.
How's your NFL training been going?
It's good. I came back here early January, probably January 10th-ish. Wanted to get started working out back at the facility, so reached out to Coach Glass, made sure someone would be here because, obviously people aren't always around in that break, but he had it open, so I was able to come start working out. And I've really just been training here, using Stillwater as my home base. Obviously, I already have a house here, so it's easier. All my stuff's here. I don't have to fly somewhere else to go train, but I'm comfortable here, so focused on just weight gain most of the time and getting stronger, obviously faster and more explosive. And Coach Glass and his guys obviously know how to do that for you, so they help me out, and they've done a good job obviously over the last 6 years too, so it's good.
Most guys go to California, South Florida. Why did you want to stay in Stillwater?
So for me, I didn't really have an option to go to California or Florida. Usually the long snappers don't get that opportunity to go to the nice beach and train, but I could have gone to Buffalo. There was a good opportunity up there. But at the end of the day, it was a great place, and I'm sure they do a great job up there. But for me, I knew that in order to be disciplined with eating and making sure I'm gaining weight, I wanted to make sure I had a home, a kitchen. I didn't want to be living out of a condo and not having, pots and pans and being able to cook. And it's just nice being at home. I knew I'd be more consistent, and it ended up working out for me.
I don't think Buffalo in January, February would be too fun
Yeah, Buffalo's
either.
a little cold, but I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to the cold. But definitely at the end of the day, this just seemed like the better option for me personally.
You're a long snapper. We're going to get into how that came to be in a little bit. But when did you first start playing football?
Started playing when I was in second grade. So pretty young, obviously. I'd been doing it ever since, never stopped, and never really wanted to stop. My dad and all his brothers played college football, so for me, I wanted to do that. At first, I was like, I want to be just like my dad. I mean, what son doesn't? But at the end of the day, ended up growing to love it. Played second through, I believe, sixth grade is when we started our school's team, our middle school's team, and then obviously high school from there. But for me, my goal was always to play college football. It wasn't necessarily to be the long snapper, but it was my way to play Division I football, and I decided that if I wanted to play Division I, this was my chance. So I pursued that further.
Early in your football years, you're sort of feeling out what position you're going to be. What positions did you play?
Yeah, so early on, you play almost everything. I played offensive line, I played D-end, I played everything, but as I got older, kind of 7th, 8th grade through high school, I played receiver, safety, cornerback. I was smaller, so at the time, I believe freshman year, I was 5'2", 100 pounds. So I looked like a 6th grader, and it's bad. I was really small. So I was undersized, so really those positions were the only one that could suit me. I couldn't be an offensive lineman or anything like that. And I didn't get to play very much my freshman, sophomore, junior year, and decided that, once that happened, that's really when I started transition. I had always long snapped, but obviously, like I said before, it wasn't like I want to be a long snapper. But turns out I did want to be a long snapper because it all worked out. But I grew late. I didn't grow until my senior year of high school. I think after my senior year of high school, I was maybe 6'2", maybe just under 6'2", about 185, 190 pounds. So I did have a growth spurt, but it did happen later. So once I got here, and then I finally started to grow a little bit more, which is good.
You're 6'3" now?
Yeah, 6'3", and right now I'm about 238, so a lot more.
Were you before, like in January, before you started working with Coach Glass?
So this January after the season, I was probably 226, 228 in that range. So I have put on a decent amount of weight. tried to put on as much good weight as I can, but truly in order to play long snapper in the NFL, you do have to be heavier. And, I plan on being, over 240, 245 if I can get there. Obviously I'm not going to rush to it if it's going to be bad weight, but continue to put it on as best I can. And then, having more weight can only help you as long as you can still move and block and snap. So.
You said you had been long snapping. You didn't really start to be like, this might be my path to college football until your senior year. How did you initially get into long snapping?
So I started in, I believe it was around 6th grade. Our team just needed a long snapper, and my dad kind of took me in the front yard and was like, we need one. Had me and my brother both try it. And my first one was good, and he was just said, all right, you can do it. And so I started doing it at practice and got a little bit better at it. Kind of after 8th grade, freshman year, I started going to camps. I went to Chris Rubio. He had camps, travels nationally, and then he ranks you. And I think after my first camp, I was probably like 180th in the nation or something, which is not very good. But then once you have that, you got to keep going and showing you're improving and get better. But those camps kind of helped me establish a base and develop my knowledge on how to get better, and continue to work on that, and then kind of went from there.
Senior year, you realize maybe this is the path. When did you realize that I have a legitimate shot to have a future playing this position?
So, senior year of high school or senior year of college?
Well, you said senior year of college was when I need to if I want to play in college, I have to long snap.
For me, it kind of got to senior year. I was still playing a little bit of receiver, and ended up, after the first few games, I decided that, I didn't have a chance at playing receiver. So I completely stopped doing that and just focused on snapping. And so I pursued that full time and really just focused on putting out my best film possible. And I did great. I had a really good season, had good film, but my biggest disadvantage was just my size. I wasn't 215 pounds, I was 185 pounds. So it took a chance. Oklahoma State took a chance on me, and they got me a preferred walk-on offer. I did get offers from North Texas. I got a full scholarship there, and same as San Jose State, and then I got a preferred walk-on from Oklahoma State, and ended up taking the chance and coming here because I knew deep down I wanted to play at a Division I school. I wanted to play at a Power 5, really a strong football program. That was my dream. So took the risk, came here, walked away from a lot of money, and ended up earning a scholarship after 2 years here. And so that was honestly one of the biggest, achievements I've had. Being able to call your mom and dad and say, hey, they're going to put me on scholarship. That's something I will never forget. And I'm thankful. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't have gone anywhere else. So really happy I came to Oklahoma State.
What was their reaction when you gave them that phone call?
I think they were in shock. Honestly, they put me on scholarship in I believe August of 2019. It was the year before I first started. So I hadn't technically started in any games yet. And historically, they hadn't scholarshiped really any snapper before. But they did say there was an opportunity if I'd earned it. And, I was more so expecting it after the season, after I'd shown them, that I played well enough and that they could trust me. But apparently I'd shown them enough. So they put me on scholarship, and honestly, it was unbelievable to hear that. I believe it was the middle of fall camp. I was getting dressed for practice, and I got a call, and it's one of the best calls I've ever had. So, I'm definitely happy to have come here and got blessed with the opportunity to be put on scholarship.
What I really admire about you is there's a lot of guys out there who are like, I want to make it in the NFL as a receiver. I'm not changing positions. When it's like, maybe you should change, but you literally gave up playing a position, receiver, to be a long snapper, gave up scholarships to play Power 5. Why was this dream so important to you?
For me, I think I'm competitive, so I knew, where I stood at receiver. I was by no means a college receiver, but I I really didn't even play that much in high school. I was just one of the backup receivers, and I love football. I wanted to play that, and if I could, that would be the one I would play. But I knew my limitations physically, and at the time, I wasn't nearly athletic enough to do that. I think ideally, if I could switch now, I'd want to be a tight end because I think, I've actually put on some weight now, and I think I can do it. But at the end of the day, receiver wasn't my path. So I wanted to be competitive in what I was good at, and I knew that I was good at long snapping, and I wanted to show that I was the best. So I wanted to play at the highest level, and I think that's kind of true with a lot of things in my life. I don't really take being second very well. I don't like that. I always want to be the starter. I always want to be the best. I want to do everything to the highest potential that I can, whether that's in the weight room, in the classroom, or on the field. So.
You have a twin brother, correct?
I do, yeah. So I have a twin brother. We're fraternal twins. His name's Michael. We both played football, obviously. He played through high school. He was actually an offensive lineman at my high school. He was undersized, but he was our offensive guard, believe it or not. And he didn't have an opportunity to play again, which is true of most people. But he's someone that drives me as well, because he's probably the hardest worker I know, as far as because he's very smart. He's extremely disciplined. He works so hard, and he's actually went to TCU, so a rival school, which wasn't my favorite thing, but it's okay. But he did go to TCU, and now he's actually in med school down at Texas A&M. So, like I said about being disciplined, every day he'll come home, knock out his flashcards, whatever he has to do, and he will do it until he's done. He doesn't need breaks. He just does it. And he gets up at 5 a.m. to go lift in the mornings, and that's stuff that I don't think even I have the discipline to do that, or I don't possess the ability to do that rigorous of a course load on top of working out all the time, because he takes fitness very importantly. So I definitely look at him for motivation as well. So we're definitely like best friends, and I'm lucky to have someone that's close enough to me like that.
How motivating is it to have a brother who is that disciplined, even though he's not playing college sport?
For me, we're twins, but he's always been my big brother, and he technically is. He's 2 minutes older than me. But I've always looked at him like I would my older sister, someone I look up to. They both are very disciplined. So for me, I always look to him and her as well, but they're like kind of paved the way for me, if that makes sense, kind of showed me the ropes on how I should be, in the classroom, outside of things. So I take a lot of things from them, and I kind of just followed him around in high school, and I was not the best student necessarily. I mean, I was fine, but I wasn't, straight A student. I got A's and B's, but, he definitely pushed me farther, and I still try to be as disciplined as he can, but having someone show you that, really, sets you up for success as well, because time management's super important as you get older, and especially once I got here, definitely was very important.
Does the competitiveness kind of get the best of you too, because he's so disciplined and now you're training for the NFL and you're like, if you're up at 5, I'm up at 5?
I mean, I would say that, the competitiveness definitely carries through. I mean, I know that he's going to be successful no matter what. He'll go be a doctor somewhere, and, that's a pretty good career. He's worked his way, and it's hard work. I respect everyone that's a doctor. So for me, I don't have a chance to be a doctor, but I do have a chance to maybe play in the NFL, and if I'm fortunate enough, I'd love to have that, and then we'd both be, on top of relative careers in the world, and, that's pretty cool. And it's something that, we wouldn't be able to do without our parents, obviously. My parents, they're both dentists, so they both studied a lot. They, made sure that we were doing our schoolwork and all that as well. So, it all started from home, and I think I'm fortunate enough to have a really strong family, and we support each other. And I think that at the end of the day, they pushed all of us to reach our full potential, and, they fully believe in us as well.
You have an older sister and your brother. Any other siblings?
No, just my older sister and my twin brother. My sister's 2 years older. She's a speech pathologist in Chicago. So pretty much everyone in my family was in medical, and then I went the business route. So I have a degree in finance and management and then a minor in sports management, but I'm the only one that didn't go into medical, which, I like to say I'm the different person in my family, but I wouldn't be where I am without them either. So
Did you ever consider going a medical route?
I think it interests me. I definitely think that I would be a great doctor if that makes, I know I would love taking care of people. But I know myself, and I know I don't lack the discipline to memorize everything on the periodic table all the time, and every single nerve ending and how muscles work, how many, I really truly, as interesting as it is to me, I lack the mental capacity, I would say, to truly be disciplined enough and focus on that, and respect to all of them. But I knew that my passion was definitely probably more the business route. I like talking to people a lot. I do like numbers, obviously. I mean, I'm a finance major. I think ideally if football doesn't work out, what I wanted to do down the road was, be a financial consultant or someone that can work with people. Because I don't envision myself sitting behind a desk all day. That would probably be my worst nightmare. But at the end of the day, hopefully football works out. But if not, I definitely want to be able to work with people.
I mean, that's helping people. People need help with their money.
Exactly.
And I think as an athlete, that's such a great skill to have because so many don't know money management. So hopefully the NFL works out and you can help some teammates too with
that's
finances.
also part of the plan. You get in, then you can have contacts. It's all about networking. So, fingers crossed that everything works out.
You keep talking about the size and you weren't big enough and you were still undersized for a long snapper. I don't think people, myself included, really realize everything that goes into being a long snapper. Yeah. What goes into it?
Yeah, so at the college level, and most colleges do a spread punt formation, so it's really just you snap and then you run downfield, so you don't have to protect, you don't have to block anyone, which is why you don't necessarily have to be as heavy. They want you to run downfield and make a tackle or cut off the field. Each team's different, but for me, that was fine my first 2 or 3 years here, and then kind of towards the end of not this past season, but the 2021 season, I kind of realized I definitely have a shot if I can put on the size and the weight, and kind of started to transition into trying to gain weight. Not that I wasn't before, but really focusing on it. And I knew that at the next level, you have to snap and block. So it's a pro style system. So everyone's a lot closer together. And you snap the ball, and then there's actually a guard or whoever you have up against you. It could be a defensive end, a linebacker, a safety. It could be anyone rushing you head up. So you actually have to snap the ball, get your head up, and block them before they can get past you, which sounds easy, but it's actually not very easy. So yes, everything happens very fast. From the snap to the punt getting off is only about 2 seconds, would say that. It's around 2 seconds to get a punt off. And so inside of a second, you have to snap the ball and get your head up and block the person, which is not easy to do until you truly trust your form and get your footwork down. So transitioning to the NFL is difficult. A lot of people can't do it. There's size requirements because obviously people are big in college, but you take the biggest and best in college football and then you put them in the NFL, and that's you have to block. So it's not necessarily something that's going to be easy. It's obviously a challenge, but like I said, I like a challenge, so that's why I'm trying to do this. So definitely want to play with the best and compete with the best, but snapping takes a whole different route once you go to the NFL, because not only are you snapping it and hoping it's in the right spot, you also have to be able to get up and block as well. And then as far as PAT field goals go, so whenever you kick an extra point or a field goal, that's a completely different snap. Obviously it's shorter, it's not 15 yards, it's 8 yards in the NFL, and really all you're doing there is focusing on making sure the ball's in the right spot. So you want it to be wherever, usually about a foot off the ground and right above the spot where the kicker's trying to kick the ball. And ideally, you and your holder work well enough to where when he catches the ball, the laces are actually facing the field goal. That's something a lot of people don't know. We call it laces out, or matching laces. So when he catches it, basically the laces would be right in his fingertips, and he just sets the ball down and he can kick it. It just makes the whole operation smoother, makes the kicker not worry about it because the ball won't be spinning or moving, so you can just set it right down and kick it. That's a big deal when you get to the next level. Being able to do that really improves the success rate about making field goals, and as well as just trust within the unit. So those are really the big differences when you get to the NFL.
You know the differences. Obviously, it's much different when you're out there experiencing those differences. What are you doing now to prepare yourself to play at that level?
Yeah, so really just going and working, a couple times a week with the snappers that are currently here. Tanner Brown, he was our kicker this past year, and he obviously has a great chance as well as playing in the NFL. And we go and work on, multiple times a week and make sure we're dialing down, timing, making sure laces are matching. For him, obviously, he's focusing on his kicking. And then as far as me for blocking and whatnot, I'm really just focusing. I take film and make sure I'm, making sure the snap is good, obviously, but also seeing how long it takes me to get my head back up. So really getting your head up and being able to see, because obviously you're not looking at the person in front of you, you're looking through your legs. So once you pick your head up, you actually have to assess, are they on the right side, left side? Are they twisting across? Usually there's a call that will tell you block right or left, but they can also come from the left side, cross your face. So you have to be able to have your head up and notice that they're going there and redirect them. So it all happens really quickly, but it's about repetition. That's really the main thing with specialists, is being able to repeat the same thing consistently and do it well. So a lot of reps and making sure that everything's consistent is really all I'm focusing on.
How many reps do you think you take snapping when you're out there with Tanner?
I would say, with specialists, you do limit it to a certain extent, but it's over the course of time how many reps you've had together. So, he might hit 30 field goals, and then I'll do probably around 30 to 50 punt snaps, and that would be about the most I'd do. Try to limit reps and make sure that at the end of the day, you're doing it the right way. But when you do it too long, if you threw 100 balls as a quarterback in a row, your shoulder would probably get tired and you'd start developing bad tendencies. So you want to limit it and make sure that, because we only play, 12, 15 snaps a game. And so you want to make sure that those snaps are, you want to be showing, that you're fresh, and don't want to be practicing when you're tired, because you probably will not be tired during the game. So.
The other thing with special teamers, punters, kickers, long snappers, holders, you guys practice off on your own. While everyone else is together, you guys are by yourselves. What's that like? Yeah,
so for us, we go from, obviously we stretch and everything with the team, and then we have our special teams period, but as soon as that's over, we usually come over to the stadium and we practice over here by ourselves. So that's a large part trust from Coach Gundy and his staff to trust us to go over and actually, prepare ourselves properly, but also discipline from all of us as well, because we know what we have to do. But like I said earlier, we can only do so many reps, so we usually space those out, try to recreate game-like scenarios. So if we're doing field goals, we'll do a field goal run on, get the operation, see if the kick goes in or not. Maybe the kicker will go and hit a kickoff, because that's what usually happens in a game, and then we'll go sit on the bench, which is what we're doing in the game. Or, walking up and down the sideline, and then maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, we'll go out and do another one, which in a game, usually it's a little longer than that, but we're trying to get repetitions in. But you try to simulate game-like experiences as much as you can, because nothing can really prepare you for when there's 100,000 people watching you, and guys are standing right above you and all that pressure. So you try to recreate it as much as you can, so it doesn't bother you when you're in those situations.
Kick. Taylor takes it at the Arizona State 35, goes all the way across the field, trying to turn a corner right side, and he's tackled by the deep snapper, the All-American Matt Hembrough, back at the 30-yard line.
You're talking about how difficult being a long snapper is, the intricacies of it. However, you have a perfect snap percentage at Oklahoma State. How difficult is that to achieve?
I think it comes down to repetitions, like I said before, and I think it is difficult. Obviously, you see every year there's a team that has someone that struggles. Some people, have multiple bad snaps a game. Some people have 1 or 2 a year. Some never have them. For me, I've truly, from high school, grade school, all the way till now, knock on wood, that, nothing bad happens, but I truly haven't had any snaps that have, affected any operation or getting a punt off or getting a punt blocked. So for me, obviously, not all of them are exactly perfect, but I haven't messed up, and I think that's something that comes down to confidence and the right mentality. Because I think one thing that also people don't understand with specialists is a completely different mentality. When you go into a game, you don't want to be out there all fired up like a defensive lineman or a linebacker who's trying to go hit somebody really hard. You're more of a calm, stoic, I would say, presence on the field, but you have to definitely be confident in yourself as well and be ready to perform. So I think my mentality has always been good. When I get out there, I definitely trust myself, trust my form. I'm not thinking about, oh, I need to change this, or did I do that right, or oh, this could go wrong. You just have to go out there and trust that everything you've done to prepare is going to work out for you, and do it full speed. So I've trusted that so far, and hopefully I can continue to trust that. So going forward, I hope to, keep that streak going, I suppose. But I truly don't care about the streak. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously I want to be perfect. But I don't like thinking about if I mess up, I'd ruin the streak or something like that. So I'm just going to go out and do my best every day. That's all I can do.
Hey, Matt, congrats on the Manley Award nomination. You've been awesome for Oklahoma State. On the field, off the field, such a great leader, a hard worker. I think you're going to play this game for a long time. We couldn't be any more proud. I also want to congratulate.
How does your demeanor in real life compared to the stoic special teamer that you just explained on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think off the field, I think I'm pretty friendly. I'll talk to anyone. I'm definitely a friendly face if somebody needs someone to talk to. Literally, I've talked to random fans in Stillwater, random people in the airport. I'm someone that truly doesn't shy away from conversation, but I'm always here for people if they need anything. And I don't think I'm some crazy character. I don't have some strong presence, but I definitely like to talk to people, and I think a lot of my friends would say I like to talk for sure.
Heard you had a nickname growing up too.
Nickname growing up? Oh, they called me Watermelon Head because I had a big head. Oh. Yeah, I know. It's pretty tragic.
Has that stuck?
But yeah, no, not really. But they're just my friends. But it's just because I had a big head. But my mom called me Matty Bear too, so those would be my two nicknames growing up.
What about Circus Boy?
Oh, Circus Boy? I guess that also would apply. That's really just my mom and dad. They wouldn't say it all the time, but they would say I'm their circus boy because I could do all kinds of random stuff. So I could do like pogo stick. I used to be able to ride a unicycle, juggle, a bunch of random things. But at the end of the day, I guess I've kind of grown out of that. But, from time to time, I still like to do fun things like that.
Do you think long snapping fits into that random list?
Yeah, I definitely think they always say I'm the one that can just do random things well. So usually people are not long snappers in general, and usually they're not good at it either. So, hey, you know what? I guess if you find something random, I might be good at it. I'd be happy to try.
Right, we have to take you up on that. Just random tasks.
Exactly.
Can he do it?
Yeah, I'm here for it.
What would it mean to you to get the call from a team saying they want you on their roster?
Everything. I think every kid's dream that wants to play football dreams of getting that call on draft day and saying, Matt, we're going to take you and you're going to be a whatever, insert team, but be a member of that team. And I really hope that day comes. I'll be waiting on a call, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to go play somewhere, whether it's, signed to go to a camp or drafted or vice versa. I'd just truly be honored to get a chance. And I think given the chance, I would be more than happy to prove myself and earn that job. So I think it's just a culmination of everything. but it's not the end. So at the end of the day, you do get that chance. Your journey's just beginning. So can't be complacent. You got to keep pushing harder. And at the end of the day, you still have a lot of work to do. You can get that call and still not make the team. So I just want to get that opportunity and prove that I can work hard and earn that spot.